They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Dead Air, a horror podcast.
Brought to you by Big Baby Studios.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Dead Air, a horror podcast. Before we begin our podcast, I'd like to remind everyone to please check out the description of this episode in whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on and use our affiliate links. Make us rich. Please help support this podcast. Please listen to our podcast. And also, happy 2022. I'm sure you're going to be listening to this sometime in 2022. So happy 2022 to everyone. We hope you had a great year. We also have socials that you can follow. So please follow our Facebook fan page. So we have Dead Air Horror fan page, and you can talk about any horror movie that you want. You can put clips and share with our horror community some of your favorites and your least favorites. We also have an Instagram account that you can follow at Dead Air Pod, and you can ask any questions there. You can harass whoever is holding that account because it's not me. So go ahead, please just bombard this account with questions and comments as much as you want. Again, that's at Dead Air Pod. And we're going to be introducing ourselves to all of you if you're listening to this episode for the first time. So hello, my name is Aaron, and I'm one of the hosts of Dead Air, a horror podcast. And I am the horror fan, meaning I love horror. In fact, I've been watching horror for the past couple of days just because I enjoy it. But I do not dissect it in a filmography way, such as the names of the directors and their styles and the type of cameras that they use. However,
mga horror tropes.
Diba? Yes, yep. Horror tropes. However, I have two experts with me on that. So let's have our other hosts introduce themselves as well.
Oh, is it me or Chris? Me. Hi, guys.
Up to you.
I've missed you all. Happy 2022. When we started this podcast in 2020, I was a scaredy cat. Ako yung ayoko manood ng horror. And now I am horror accepting. I am fine with horror. I have faced my demons and parang okay naman pala. It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah, and I'm Chris. I'm the third host. When we started this podcast, I was the horror fanatic, and now in 2022, I am still the horror fanatic. so out of everyone, I'd say I'm probably the biggest fan siguro of everything surrounding.
That is
horror.
true.
Yeah. Horror expert yarn.
Hindi expert. Actually, I get called out a lot sa fan group na parang, you haven't seen this? You don't know this? So I'm like, okay, maybe I should stop calling myself a fanatic. It's like,
parang na-out fanatic ka ng mga ibang members natin.
Pala.
Oo nga. But today, we have someone that we wanted on the show for a really long time. As in last year pa to tinext ni Chris. In fact, na-mention pa nga siya sa episode namin with Phoebe Walker because Phoebe actually appeared on a show based on our guests' literature. Ayan. So ngayon po, we'd like to welcome publisher, comic book creator, and National Book Awardee for his series Tabi Po, I was supposed to say Mr. and Mervin. So naging Mir. Mervin Malonzo.
Yay! Thanks for coming, Mervin.
Magandang gabi sa lahat. Excited na akong maging part nito dahil nakikinig ako nito nung dating-dati pa. Hindi naman dati, pero yung kay Phoebe Walker dahil siya, parang nakatrabaho ko nga siya sa Tabi Po. Tapos yung Mervin nga, lagi ako nagkakamali. So parang medyo okay pa yung pagbanggit mo ng ano. Kasi lagi Marvin. Melvin. Tapos sa dyaryo naging Melvin Salonso pa. So,
no.
So mas tama na yung pagsabi namin. Okay na to.
Tama yun. Saktong-sakto.
Baka may mga ibang awards ka na hindi mo na-claim kasi it was given to someone else. Baka kay Melvin Salonso na bigay.
Pwede. Yun nga.
Ayun, buti na lang may oras ka for us today, Mervin. So,
Siyempre.
Sige, tatalo na tayo. What is your horror origin?
Okay. Ang horror origin ko, actually, ito rin yung, kaya din ito yung pinili ko na movie. Dahil ito talaga yung sana magkaroon pa tayo ng mga susunod na mga gantong interviews sa Dead Air. Pero gusto ko na unahin yung aking parang movie na medyo nanakot sa akin. Kasi pinanood ko to itong Dead Alive.
Mm-hmm.
Pinanood ko kasi siya nung bata pa ako. As in, hindi siya pang bata, di ba? Parang meron kaming VHS or Betamax pa tayo nung time na yun na parang kaming dalawang magkapatid na parang sumunod sa akin. Panganay ako, sumunod sa akin. Siya pa yung talagang nag-push na panoorin namin. Secretly, gabi, yung mga gantong oras. Tapos, yun nga, parang, nung bata ako, ang dating niya sa akin talaga horror kasi gore talaga siya, di ba? Sobrang simula pa lang, parang, di ba zombie, zombie ano siya na tawag dito na genre, di ba? So parang may mga pugot-pugot na agad ng kamay at mga ulo. Yeah. Tapos sobrang siya, parang sobrang napanaginipan ko. Kasi yung mga movies, di ba, parang may pagbata ka, parang may magic pa ng konti yung movies na parang siya, parang hindi lang siya parang hindi mo alam paano siya ginagawa, di ba? So parang medyo may pagka-real ng konti yung dating. So palagi nga sinasabi ng matatanda pag nanonood na parang, hindi naman yung totoo, di ba? Pero parang sa mind ko parang, ba't sinasabi sa akin yun? Parang, ibig sabihin ba nun? Pwede siyang maging totoo? So parang, gano'n siya. So parang, tumatak siya sa mind ko kasi sobrang gory niya, sobrang kadiri niya talaga pa yung mga sobrang gano'n. Tapos, nung lumaki ko, nung mga college, kasi iniiwasan ko talaga tong Dead Alive na pelikula. As in pagka binabanggit siya parang bumabalik sa mind ko yung mga gore, yung talagang putol-putol na mga na mga katawan ganyan. Tapos nung college siguro after na nung graduate, may yung isa kong kabarkada na nagyaya manood. Tapos itong movie yung Dead Alive na pinanood namin. Tapos naman kayo, grupo kami. Tapos na-realize ko, comedy pala siya. Nakakatawa siya. Sobrang iba yung experience ko sa kanya. Oo, dun sa nung bata ako, tsaka dun sa nung tumanda ako. So parang medyo parang nakaget over ako dun sa trauma. So parang natutuwa talaga ako dun sa. Sobrang nakakatawa siya parang napansin namin na kasi merong eksena sa mga hindi pa nakakapanood. May eksena dun palagi na nalagyan tranquilizer yung mga zombie ng bida para ma-subside yung para makatulog sila. Tapos natatawa kami palagi na sa ilong palagi yung inject.
Correct.
So parang may mga gags siya na nakakatawa. Tapos yun nga, na-realize ko na pwede palang maging nakakatawa yung mga horror. Kasi hindi talaga siya, pag tinignan mo horror, pagka kunya nag-screenshot ka, horror talaga siya. Pero posible pa lang maging nakakatawa yung mga pugot-pugot ulo, yung mga ulo na nilagay sa ilaw para naging lampara yung mukha. Nakakatawa pala siya. So parang maganda rin yung feeling na pwede mong pagtawanan yung mga nakakatakot na bagay. So yun yung Dead Alive para sa akin. Yung parang traumatic na experience na tapos yun, parang nagkaroon ako ng nakaka-addict din pala yung mga horror movies kasi parang may yung relief pagkatapos yung catharsis pagkatapos ng mga so parang nakaka-addict siya. So parang simula nun parang nanonood na ako ng mga parang medyo kahit natatakot, siyempre hindi naman parang imposible naman sabihin na sobrang simula pa lang hindi ka natatakot, pero kahit nakakatakot siya yung feeling talaga ng catharsis tsaka yung pagtapos na ganyan. So parang yung
roller coaster.
Yun, exactly. Parang yung thrill niya. So parang masaya. Parang mong safe ka kasi nakaupo ka lang naman nanonood. Pero nararamdaman mo siya. So parang mas nakikita ko yung ganung feeling sa mga horror movies kaysa sa mga normal na mga boring. Hindi naman lahat. Pero yun. Yun. So parang kadalasan nasa horror movie yung mga stories na gusto kong panoorin, basahin, tsaka pakinggan, ganyan.
So curious ako sa exact age mo nung napanood mo Dead Alive. Kasi sabi mo bata ka, but
siguro
definition of
grade 4, so mga 9, 10 siguro ganun.
Yeah.
Yun, so 90s. Parang hindi
traumatic
talaga.
Traumatic talaga yan. Yeah, super traumatic.
Kasi nananaginip talaga ako ng vivid nun. Pero ngayon, pag nananaginip ako ng horror, parang medyo na-enjoy ko ng konti. Kasi parang minsan din, doon ako gumawa ng ideas para sa mga comics. Eh. So parang minsan, parang wini-welcome ko siya. Basta as long as magising ako ng maayos.
As long as magising ka.
Yun.
So ito nga yung feeling ko like, ito talaga this is his real origin story kasi kung nabasa mo yung tabi po, dude, like, it's gory.
Okay.
And so if gore talaga yung first horror film mo, Mervs, nakikita ko talaga sa work mo na it's not just horror, it's gore talaga. So that's why I guess super important yung Dead Alive for you.
Well, pag sa comics kasi, di ba, visual na medium siya. So ang hirap kasi sa movie kasi may element ng music, may element ng timing, ganyan. So di ba sa movie parang may pero pwede ka takot sa mga sound eh. So minsan nga pagka natatakot ako, minimute ko na lang yung mga movies. Pero since sa comics, visual siya na medium. So parang ang dating, parang kailangan mo, parang feeling ko yung naging solution ko. Kailangan maging sobrang gory din niya para talagang maging maaning horror. Tapos kadalasan yung technique, pagkabuklat, doon mo i-release. Parang yung anticipation, yung pagbuklat ng book. Parang andun bigla yung so parang yun yung gulat factor.
Yan yung parang, jump scare mo is yung turn ng page.
Yeah.
Parang ganun. No? So parang laging ganun. Parang pag nagsusulat ako, nagko-comics ako pag nagla-layout ako ng comics, kailangan palaging ito-turn. Parang gusto kong tawag dito, ang effect niya sa viewer, i-turn ko yung page. Tapos doon ko sila gugulatin ng mga gore na nakabulat-lat ng mga laman-laman. Ganyan.
Yung, before we go sa Dead Alive, I'm curious kasi nandito pa tayo sa topic about gore, no? Yung adaptation ng tabi po, yung TV series, super gory siya. Nagulat ako. Dude, like,
pero
hindi ko pa nakita. Yeah.
Pero
so on TV yan,
pa yun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yung itabi po, nasa din siya, nasa, alam ko, Signal Play na app.
Yeah.
Pwede kayong libre
you
lang
can watch for free.
Panood.
Sign up ka lang sa Signal. That's how I watched it.
Tapos pero yung TV series parang hindi pa ganoon ka. I mean kung ikukumpara mo sa pinapakita ko dun sa comics, parang medyo kulang pa. Pero
kulang pa.
Gory talaga.
Pero naggulat din ako for a TV show, especially here na parang
tsaka hubad-hubad din.
Hindi siya ganun ka-sanitized. Akala ko ma-sanitize talaga siya ng todo eh. But
cable naman din siya. Tsaka kung magagawa ka ng story about aswang, kailangan talaga may kumakain. May kumakain ng tao. So hindi pwedeng mawala yun. Kasi parang pag medyo tinone down mo, parang medyo na siya, parang kulang, ganun.
Parang ano yung point? Ganun.
Kailangan may kainin ng mga sanggol, so ganun siya.
Yes, may sanggol din dito. Movie na to, diba?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, ito na ang pagkakataon ni Miguel. So, alam mo na to, Mervin, di ba? I-rate mo siya.
My favorite part ng...
Wait,
ito na.
Before I go on my summary...
Wag ka muna. Close yung Wikipedia tab.
I was gonna say, without reading Wikipedia, I'm gonna try to summarize it. Because this is... Hindi siya medyo complicated yung plot. Pero before we go to there, I just want to say na I don't know, I can't remember or I don't know if it's rare, pero bihira na meron tayong guest na who saw the movie when they were young and then saw it again when they were older and then parang iba yung they
totally
took different took different things but still added it to their love for horror now. Parang in the past, we had guests na who saw it as a kid and then they loved it and then they saw it as an adult and parang na-affirm yung nostalgia nila or something. Yes. Pero now, in your case, Mervin, parang naparod mo siya, natakot ka nung bata ka, tapos nung pagtanda mo, na-realize mo na there was another layer to it and parang, I think all of that informed your notion of horror or kung ano yung mga gusto mo na horror. That's pretty cool. I just wanted to note it. And yun na yung contribution for tonight, guys. Dalawa na. Sige, summarize ko na. Medyo mahirap to Nagsimula to sa island, which is also the island where Kong is from, I think. I think
Skull Island.
I think yan yung mga little Easter egg. Parang Peter Jackson really has the director really has a thing for King Kong. So parang maraming he'd try to insert it anytime he can. So they were in an island and then parang may na-capture silang daga, which I hate.
Rat monkey.
Rat monkey. And then dinala siya sa New Zealand. And then, nasa zoo na yung rat. This is where it gets strange. Parang may yung main actor natin, yung main character natin is a mama's boy. And then, like, he's totally attached to his mother. His mother is totally dominating and manipulative. And that's their dynamic. In the zoo, nakagat yung nanay niya nung rat monkey na yon. And we find out that's the infection. That's where the infection starts. And she becomes undead. Now, the son, parang meron isang shopkeeper lady na in love sa kanya kasi sinabihan siya in a tarot card reading na may in love siya sa isang ganitong klaseng guy, and for some reason nag-fit intong mama's boy sa whole prophecy. So even if like tinatanggihan na siya nung guy, parang pinupursue siya ng shop lady. And then, oh my God, this is where it gets super confusing. Wait, magbubukas ako ng Wikipedia, guys.
No. Yan yung whole point.
Basta, can I just describe certain scenes? Like, so parang
wala na, C+ na
namatay
to.
yung mom. No, sorry, tinanggal ko ulit yung Wikipedia kasi I want to try this on my own. And PV and Maui, just feel free to edit the shit out. Parang they had a funeral for the mom who was quote-unquote dead. And then, pero all hell broke loose and parang shit happened. And then parang nasa crypt na yung mom, and then the son was there at night to visit. And then parang he was
How
ganged
did the
upon.
mom become a zombie?
Wasn't she bit by the rat monkey?
At the zoo.
At the zoo, I said that. And then parang ang dami parang nangyari. Like he tried to find cures. And then he got the tranquilizer, and then it didn't help. And so the mom is dead in a crypt, and then he gets ganged upon by a gang. And then the priest at the wake comes to save him, and the priest knows kung fu. And then the immortal line is, I screen capped it because it was so funny. The immortal line of the priest was, I kick ass for God, or I kick ass for the Lord. Parang ganun. That's so good. And then, sorry guys, sobrang confusing to. And then, meron pang parang half-uncle na may scheme.
Yes.
Na may scheme na kasi nga namatay yung mom, may mana. So the half-uncle is there to scheme and get his share and parang do away with the mama's boy. And at the same time, the mama's boy and the girl are dating. And then, parang for some reason, dumagdag yung mga zombies sa bahay ng mama's boy. Parang,
Kasi uncle wanted a party.
No, but before that, nandun na yung gardener, nandun na yung president ng ladies club and her husband. And parang nasa basement sila lahat, inaalagaan nung mama's boy. It was so funny. That was actually super funny to me. And then the step uncle or the uncle comes in, throws a hippie party, and that's where all hell breaks loose. Parang it became this zombie / haunted house, horror house film na. And then it really ends really weird. Parang first of all, parang the son finds his courage and is able to kill everybody with a lawnmower. And then the mom parang becomes this giant demon girl. And then they go up in the roof. And then she swallowed the son. But the son blows her up or something. Sorry, natawa ako sa kwento ko. And then they win. Parang they live happy. Parang the son who's a mama's boy is freed of his mother and is now free to love this
Paquita.
shop. This Paquita is her name.
Yes.
Sorry, I missed out on so much. And parang my summary parang wasn't able to express how gory this movie was. Parang sobrang gory. And not in a modern way, but in a very pre-CG practical effects way.
Yeah.
Parang it was almost like The Thing, but times 100. Parang ganun. Body gore talaga siya. And that's what made it like sear itself into my memory. Yeah.
So Mervin, ano yung grade niya?
I'm sorry, Mervin, ang pangat na summary ko.
Okay,
Hiya ako, but go
Anong
lang.
grade?
So wait, ano bang basehan ng pag-grade? Parang tinadjust
Sa'yo.
Parang effort.
Hindi ata effort.
Hindi naman necessarily accuracy. Yeah.
Okay naman, no? Okay naman. Iniisip ko lang, baka hindi mo napanood yung mga ibang parts.
Ang dami kasi nangyari. Ato pa, nagkaroon pa ng baby.
Yes!
Kasi may nabuntis na isang zombie. So
Yung nurse.
she gave birth to a zombie child. Tapos for some reason, dinala pa ni Mama's Boy sa park. Tapos nagkaroon ng, parang, I don't know if that's an homage to Battleship Potemkin or, parang may when I checked IMDb, sobrang galing ni Peter Jackson director, under budget siya by around $2,000. And that's what he used to shoot this fucking park scene. Like,
With the
sobrang
baby,
yeah, when you were watching that, parang ano kinalaman doon sa kwento, slightly indulgent, pero yung pala, may extra cash sila. Galing din. Yeah.
Okay naman, pasado naman sa akin.
Pasado
naman. Over 100. Ano siya?
Love ko kayong lahat eh.
Goal ko lang naman pumasay. Goal ko.
Oo, pasado. Mga ano ba? Sa school kasi namin, ang pasang awa ay 75.
Okay na ako doon.
Joke lang. Pero okay na. Okay naman. Pinanood mo naman. So, very good.
Wait, marami pa nangyari. Yeah, go ahead.
Pero parang hindi, kasi dun sa mga nauna, hindi ko pa napakinggan lahat ng mga podcast. Pero sa ngayon, parang hindi ka na yung parang resident scaredy cat, di ba? Parang
hindi na.
Parang medyo na-enjoy mo na eh.
Pero hindi ko pa na mapanood. Yes, nag-enjoy na. Pero hindi ko pa na mapanood yung what's that thing I freaked out on and I couldn't watch?
The Conjuring.
The Conjuring. Parang hindi ko pa na papanoorin yun. Yung mga ganong klase. Kasi
ako okay na napanood ko na siya, pero parang hindi ako masyadong takot sa kanya. Kasi kailangan maging naniniwala ka may faith ka dapat para matakot ka dun eh. Pero yun.
Damn.
Iba, siguro parang siguro pwede tayong pumunta doon. Parang nakilala ko kasi yung sarili ko galing sa mga horror films. Dati takot ako sa mga horror na parang mga may yung mga demons, yung mga katot. Dati yun parang iniiwasan ko din. Pero parang yun parang pinaka-last yata na natakot ako yung Emily Rose. Pero yun. So parang kasi parang tsaka meron pa siyang branding na true story, blah blah blah. Tapos pinanood ko siya with someone na may experience personal na parang basta nakakakita siya. Tapos parang inisip ko baka parang meron siyang medical condition. Kaklase ko siya. Anyway, yun, parang medyo naging real sa akin ng konti yung Emily Rose. Pero so yun, nag-research ako. Parang ang naging solution, anyway, parang baka hindi maganda.
Go lang.
Okay. Pero basta parang naging solution ko, parang baka, what if wala ring mga God, wala mga... So, big sabihin, pag walang God, wala ding demon. So, parang medyo napatanong ako, napaisip ako ng mga ganyan-ganyan. So, ayun, simula nun, parang nung nakahanap ako ng mga sagot sa mga libro, kung saan, na-realize ko na parang, yun nga, parang wala naman palang dapat katakutan na sa mga, parang nawala siya sa akin. Yung Conjuring talaga, trinay ko panoorin kasi nakakatakot daw. Pero yun nga, dahil parang hindi na, parang wala na akong, medyo madali eh. Pagka sinabi mo parang may cross lang, tapos may so parang hindi siya madali, parang hindi siya nag-hold up sa akin. So, naano ko na, in a way parang nagkaroon ako superpower nung nag-get rid ko na yung mga
pinag-iisipan mo siya logically.
Logically. Yes. Yes. Oo, ganun. So, parang basta
yan yung coping mechanism. Like, always, diba, I'd say yung coping mechanism ko pag natakot ako is parang binibreakdown ko as a film. Parang, dito galing yung ilaw. Dito, ito yung lente na ginamit. Like, sa likod, may ano.
Pag sa sinihan, ang ginagawa ko, pag tinitingnan sa fire exit na sign. Yung sa, parang, okay, nandito ako sa sinihan, wala ako dun sa
Yeah.
Okay, pasok.
Exactly.
Okay, wala pa akong ganong klaseng power.
Yeah, and also, hindi mo rin malaman kung nakakatakot yung Conjuring, Miguel, kasi you literally tapped out sa first 2 minutes. So,
yep. As in, wala pa nangyari 5 minutes. Natapos ko naman yung eksena na may...
3 minutes. So.
No, di ba, nabuta ko pa yung nasa party sila sa simula and then may doll.
Yung doll.
Yun, that was scary enough. And then, ato pa, so nag-transition yung scene na yun to a scene of the house na via a window shot. Doon pa lang doon ako bumigay sa window shot na parang harbinger lang siya of the shit that's about to happen. And I'm like, okay na ako. Hindi ko na to kaya. Wikipedia na lang. Pero it's so weird kasi yung mga crazily supernatural stuff, let's say like The Witch, parang I enjoy that. Yung parang di ako natakot dun eh. Or even Hereditary. I mean, syempre, there's the surprise and there's that aspect of like fear and gulatan and some sort of horror. But I survived that and I appreciate it and enjoyed it. But for some reason sa Conjuring, kasi parang pwede mangyari. Like, I know rationally it won't and it can't. But there's a part of my brain that says, this can happen to you. You live alone in an old house and this can happen to you.
And that's parang
anyway, so with this one naman.
Exactly. Yan yung transition ko. We got this transition. That's the exact opposite for this movie. Kasi
this inspired no fear. So, I was wondering nga, kaya nga galing nga na si Mervin na nag-bring up na he saw this as a kid and that really terrified him. That made me understand the context of like, okay, gets ko na. Kasi ako, Mervin, to be perfectly honest, when I was watching this, damn, parang super camp, and I'm sure in 1992 may cinematic value to people watching it, like yung halo of gore and humor and everything. I'm sure this was super enjoyable. But me as an older person now in 2022, seeing it for the first time, like parang hindi ko masakin lahat. Pero natuwa ako sa gore, pero hindi ko masakin lahat, to be honest. Parang it took me a while to get into the tono or parang ano ba tong act. Even yung mga shots ni Peter Jackson, parang very camp yung parang the mga biglang tight shots or parang
nakakatuwa, parang you can really see na so he's always been like this talaga. Gumagalaw yung camera all the time, yung extreme close up, yung Dutch angle, like and
then meron siya mga sweeping shots. I think meron din siya magaling na parang he'll pulls out and something happens. Pero natuwa ako
sweeping shots in small spaces.
Yeah. Natuwa ako na this was the same. It was instantly recognizable as the same setting as Frighteners. Diba? Yun ba yun? Peter Jackson din ba yun?
Yes.
Parang Wellington yata eh. Like,
yes. Medyo.
This very nice town around the lake. Like parang this is so recognizable as Wellington. Ganda.
Yung sinasabi mong pagka-camp niya, na-realize ko kasi parang nung nirewatch ko siya recently din, parang siyang Looney Tunes na tao. Kumbaga parang dahil hindi sa cartoons, di sila, dahil tao lang talaga, palitan mo lang yung mga cartoon characters na ng mga so parang yun nga, parang ganun siya mga jokes. So parang kaya siya nakakatawa kasi sobrang slapstick lang talaga. So hindi sadya siya, hindi siya parang feeling ko parang ano din siya, may parang ma-appreciate ko din siya, parang may art din siya, may genius din sa ganun sa camp sa Tsaka parang magawa mo nakakatawa yung mga ganun. Mahirap 'di ba yung comedy tsaka yung gumawa ng horror. So tapos pag nagawa mo ng pareho, parang ma-appreciate mo siya eh. Tapos yung effects din, kumbaga paano ginawa ng mga artists yung mga prosthetics. So parang sobrang siya, parang in-effort nyo talaga to. Parang ginawa nyo talaga yung mga ganito. Tapos pati yung mga trick, kunyari yung napansin ko kasi na yung nanay, kasi ba malaki dapat yung sa ending niya, parang super jumbo siya. Parang maliit lang talaga siya pero
forced
parang
perspective.
Ayun yung first perspective in terms. So parang ano siya, parang ginawa nyo talaga to. Tapos pati yung mga characters na matatanda, yung particularly yung priest na matanda, tapos parang ano siya, parang pati yung artista na realize pumayag siya, parang hindi siya pumayag siya. So parang may fun dun sa paggawa ng film. Tsaka, so para sa akin na translate siya. Parang nakikita ko yun sa mga screen. Tapos yun nga, parang ngayon naman na matanda na ako, nakikita ko yun. So, pero sa akin dati talaga takot na takot sa kanya. Talagang hindi ako makatulog. Pero yun pala, parang ano siya, mayroon siyang art ng parang feeling ko siya, kaya siya may place dun sa mga horror
absolutely. Ako like for me first time ko to watch this, and then super I'd say really big Peter Jackson fan din ako. So surprisingly hindi ko napanood to, again, poser horror fanatic. but so this is my first time, pero I super loved it. Yung problema lang is yun nga, may sakit ako ngayon, so like yung gore it's just too much.
Grabe,
Grabe talaga.
My favorite.
Gore, and then yung body fluids. And I was like, oh God.
Sabi ni Miguel, habang nanonood, I was eating chicken. Mistake. Big mistake.
A big mistake.
Sobrang mali. Yung kasi ang daming eating scenes. Like remember na parang
oh my God,
yung super gory. Yung first yung
pudding.
Yung pudding.
Oh my God.
Even later nung inaalagaan niya na yung mga zombies, yung meron dun bali yung leeg. Pag sumusubo siya, lumalabas din sa leeg niya yung pagkain. So naisip nung anak na idiretso na lang. So, parang yun din yung parang what weirded me out. Parang, ba't di na lang siya umalis? But what compelled him to stick around and take care of his growing family of zombies? Parang, kung siya, just buy a plane ticket, leave this na to the authorities, and leave. Pero, parang galing din. I think yun yung part
absurd.
It was absurd. Yeah.
But yung script is so funny. It's super absurd nga. Like yung mga setups, like sa start, like yung whole setup sa zoo is so funny. If you think about it, yung parang nakita niyo yung dog ni Paquita, the girl, and he's like, you like my dog? And then he's like, yeah, he's so big, he belongs in a zoo. And the girl's like, what's a zoo? And it's like, so absurd lang yung movement from scene to scene. It's like,
oh my God.
Ano talaga siya? Parang hindi talaga siya masyadong seryosong film pala.
Hindi talaga.
Extreme. Ako super siya nag-work for me. Yun
yung charm. Yun yung ano talaga.
Yeah, super charming. Surprisingly, I can use that term, charming.
Pero totoong kadiri talaga siya. As in, parang kahit nga wife ko, hindi ko pa siya ma-recommend. Kasi parang, nanonood din yung wife ko ng mga horror paminsan-minsan. Pero ito parang hindi ko pa yata kayang, baka i-judge ako masyado. Or actually, sa totoo lang, medyo natatakot nga akong i-recommend kahit sa inyo din. Kasi parang, baka isipin nyo medyo weird. Parang masyado namang ano yung taste. Pero yun nga, tayo lang talaga mag-i-enjoy nito yung
pero parang may cult following nga to.
Super huge.
Nung binanggit namin sa group namin to, may nagsabi rin na it's one of his brother's favorite film or whatever. Sorry, naalala ko lang yung zoo scene na. Yun yung nag-set nung tone. Kasi nung kinapture pa nila yung monkey rat sa island, wala pa naman masyadong gore dun eh. Pero nung zoo scene in broad daylight, nung binali nung monkey rat at binunot niya yung braso nung actual monkey ba? Parang chicken wings yata kinakain ko nun eh. So parang, putang ina naman to. Sobrang, oh my God, bale. So interesting, di ba Weta na yan? Di ba Weta na yung group?
Weta na yan.
So interesting, I wonder if Weta was like in the beginning, they were a general effects company, whether it's practical effects or not.
What is Weta? What is Weta? What is Weta?
Sorry.
Weta is the effects company started by Peter Jackson. It became famous in Lord of the Rings kasi
it was started for Lord of the Rings, pero ito yung beginning ng Weta. So hindi pa siya Weta at this time. Yeah.
So all the digital animation in all the effects in Lord of the Rings was done by Weta. Parang yan yung nagbuhat ng buong film industry ng New Zealand. Kasi nga Peter Jackson wanted to shoot Lord of the Rings in New Zealand and he established this high-tech, at that time, state-of-the-art effects company. And I think until now, they do all the effects. I think even until Star Wars. I don't know. Nagweta na rin sila. Parang siya yung New Zealand version of Lucas. What is
Lucas?
Yeah, Lucasfilm. Lucas Art. Parang ganun. I forget. Sorry. Parang yan. So
Industrial Light and Magic.
I'm sorry, Chris. Industrial Light and Magic. So ang galing lang na in the beginning, talagang meron hilig si Jackson for effects, whether it was practical and then later on he realized stop motion or even claymation or even and until he realized I can do this all on the computer. Sobrang ganda na.
Ito yung origin ni Smeagol, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Si Samantha and Rat Monkey. Prototype for Smeagol.
All right.
At what part, Mervin, did you realize na nakakatawa pala siya when you watched it again?
Ano nga ba? Siguro yung part na talaga yung paulit-ulit sa ilong. parang doon ako, parang consistent talaga inaabangan namin kung saan to injectionan. Sa ilong, talagang, tsaka masarap siyang panoorin sa kasama yung mga barkada mo na na-enjoy din yung mga ganito. So parang, parang basta may mga points. Tsaka lahat ng mga gags Parang, yun din gusto ko sa mga horror films. Pagka, lalo na yung mga zombie, may mga gags talaga sila na sobrang iconic na parang, di mo na pwedeng ulit na zombie film. Pag ginawa mo ulit yung ganito, sasabihin nila, ginaya mo sa ganito, ganyan. So, parang siyang, pati sa pagsusulat, parang gusto kong magawa ng mga ganun. Parang may iconic na mga eksena na ganun. Kunyari, ano ba yung mga eksena dito na medyo kakaiba? Yung isang persistent na zombie na parang nahati na siya sa 3 parts. Yung isa, yung parang magnanakaw. Yung parang nakakati na yung katawan niya. Tapos pati yung lamang loob niya, inahabol pa rin yung bida natin. So parang, yung itsura niya, yung parang head niya na ata yung heart. Tapos yun, basta parang mga lungs, tsaka mga so inahabol pa rin siya. Tapos sa bandang huli, parang nung lolon mower na siya, nagmamakaawa pa siya. yung heart ng mukha, tapos yung lungs, nagmamakaawa pa siya. So parang yun, sobrang sobrang kulit lang talaga na pelikula pala. So, yun yung mga memorable.
Sorry to interrupt. No, pero since yung favorite part, may isang part na I had to rewind a few times para mag-gets ko yung kung paano nila ginawa. Yung may shot, may isang party goer na babae na is a close-up. Tapos biglang sinapak siya from the back and then lumusot yung hand through her mouth.
Ooh.
Did you guys see that? I had to rewind so many times. It's a jump cut pala.
Yes.
I saw that. Yung may kamay na parang may biglang may
super galing.
Gusto ko rin yung
Parang ano lang siya, parang cut
lang siya.
Pero ganda na pagkagawa kasi halos seamless eh. Pero ang weird din ng mga, hindi weird, ang brilliant din ng mga, shit, I was gonna go that thought. May mga, yung pinipil yung buong muka, yung hinahatak yung sinasabunutan, tapos sumasama yung balat.
Yeah.
Sobrang absurd. Parang, it's so gross, and ang galing nung nag-isip nito, but it's also so absurd. Yeah.
I think when I found it funny was when the mom's skin came off.
Yeah, exactly. And then yung glue.
Oo, tama. Oo.
I was curious, Aaron, kasi si PV asked you, diba? Said sa group natin na I think Aaron will like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what? What's the answer, Aaron?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I enjoyed it because I was sending videos to the group habang nanonood ako. Natatawa ako sa mga eksena, tas nagte-text ako mga, okay, my baby, okay, lolo nang nagkakarate, ano to. It was just so, I think my favorite word today, using that word the whole time sa chat is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Yun talaga yun eh. Kaya
So
enjoy na enjoy.
Yeah, super loved it.
Pero actually, nung bata ako, na-enjoy ko yung karate part. Yun tayo sa isang part na na-enjoy ko. Nagulat ako na si Lolo nagkakarate.
Medyo legit yung moves ni father, no?
Ang sad lang how he died. Like, kala ko mananalo na siya. Tapos putya na utakan pa siya na isang beses. Malas ganyan. I forgot pala one. Sorry, I sumilip na ako sa Wikipedia kasi I was trying to remember mayroong plot point na na-forget din. And I think this was the movie trying to have some sort of emotional heart or emotional motivation. Parang there's a reason why the mom and the son who's an adult.
Yeah.
Parang there's a reason why they live together alone.
Yeah.
And apparently, and it has revealed towards the end lang. But ito lang yung problem. It wasn't really set up as a mystery in the beginning, but in the end, they revealed naman a certain thing about this family na the dad was having an affair and then the mom murdered them in the fucking bathtub. Tama. Okay, just wondering if it was just my imagination or... And then, so, I think that's what also gave the guy / son the motivation to finally humiwalay sa mom niya by killing the mom.
Tama.
by blowing her up. Yeah.
Coming of age movie pala to eh.
Yeah. May ganun din eh.
Sweet coming of age. Tender. A tender coming
He
of
finds
age.
himself as an adult and finds love.
Yun nga.
Pero grabe yung end concept of the mom on the roof and she was just so demonic. That wasn't even supernatural, no? It was just like chemicals and zombie. Yeah. And slightly bordering on the obscene. Eh. Parang, what is this thing? Parang strategic yung framing eh. Pero parang, anyway.
Meron siyang, paano nga ba naging ganun yung, kasi may poison dapat na nilagay.
Pero iba pala yung nabigay.
Pang-animal pala na parang, parang ganun. Tapos parang nakaka-aggressive. So parang naging malaki siya.
Looney Tunes nga.
Looney Tunes. Oo nga. May acme
Acme.
May nakita akong acme. So parang ganun nga talaga siya. Tapos yung, ano pa ba yung gusto ko rin, nakakatawa din yung part na yung kumuha siya ng tranquilizer dun sa doktor na nagpapanggap na, parang nagpapanggap siya na parang refugee na pero Nazi pala siya. So, paano, mayroon ding mga ganong part. Nakakatawa din na.
Grabe.
So, ayun. Pero yun, hindi lang naman ito yung mga na-enjoy kong mga horror movies. Parang may mga iba pa din. So, next time, usap pa tayo.
So, would you say top 5, nasa top 5 mo to?
Siguro dahil lang din meron siyang parang meaning sa akin nung bata na parang yun nga, parang na-get over ko siya. At the same time, parang na-in love din ako sa horror dahil sa ganito. Ito, tsaka meron pa akong cartoons na napanood na ang title, Feliday. Parang German ata siya ng cartoons na pusa. Tapos, yun, parang mystery, parang siyang detective na pusa. Mga pusa talaga yung characters. Tapos, sa ending may mga kalmutan tapos labas yung mga bituka. So, yun yung isang kong sa mga napanood, nag-trauma sa akin ng bata. Tsaka yung game na Resident Evil. So yun yung parang ano ba to? Basta yun yung mga parang tatlo na origin na mga horror sa akin. Yung mga bagay-bagay. Nakalimutan ko yung tanong. Ano nga ba? May tanong ba tayo?
Sabi ko kung nasa top 5 mo to. Yeah. Tama naman.
Nasa top 5 mo. Ayokong pumili na. Feeling ko ayokong pumili ng top 5.
Mahirap.
Kasi parang hindi lang. Siyempre may gusto kong horror comedy. Tapos may gusto rin ako ng mga yung The Ring. Iba din yung effect sa akin. Kasi parang actually, kaya ko pala ayaw nung Conjuring kasi masyadong ma-effects yung mukha nila, yung parang demonic na talagang matakot. Pero yung nako-compare ko sa The Ring na parang mukhang normal na tao lang na ano. Tapos yung effect, hindi kasi nakakatakot yung The Ring habang pinapanood mo, di ba? Pagkatapos, pagka mag-isa ka na lang sa bahay, makikita mo yung TV mo sa hating gabi, inom ka lang ng tubig. Makikita mo yung TV mo, nakakatakot ka na. Tapos pag nung dati naglalakad lang ako, tapos may sa harap ko na may babaeng mahabang buhok, parang akala ko nakaharap siya sa akin na nakaganon ng buhok niya. So, nakatalikod lang siya. So parang yun yung effect ng The Ring sa akin. Tapos may yung It Follows, syempre iba din yung dating. So ayokong, parang feeling ko kasi parang kailangan kong pag-isipan para maghanap ako ng top 5. Pero yun, may mga favorite ako. Tsaka yung mga recent ko ba napanood?
Yung recent na lang.
Sa Netflix, yung Babysitter, na-enjoy ko siya. Tsaka yung isa pa, anong tawag doon? Demon siya. Basta parang may isa na parang
evil,
The Evil.
Little Evil.
Yun.
Little Evil.
Na-enjoy ko rin siya. Maganda din siya. Tapos, ano pa ba? Yung mga artsy, siyempre gusto ko rin yung mga Hereditary, tsaka yung gawa ni Ari Aster. Pero parang pagka may sobrang artsy, medyo
nawawala.
Oo, nawawala. Minsan parang masyadong, ano ba tawag doon?
Conceptual
enjoy ko siya. I mean, natutuwa ko kanya. Pero hindi siya parang horror na yung meron talaga akong nararamdaman na takot na.
Parang too intellectualized yata pag
basta ganun. Basta iba yung budget. Tsaka
Nag-Fear Street ka na ba?
Fear Street. Na-enjoy ko yung Fear Street. Fun. Yung Fear Street. Yung tatlo, dire-diretso siyang pinanood. So parang masaya siya.
Masaya lang siya,
Kasi pinanood ko rin yan with my wife. So na-enjoy naman niya. So ayun. Nakatutuwa ako every time na na-enjoy din ng asawa ko, si Princess, yung yung aking mga horror things. So hindi lang ako mag-isa.
Buti ka pa. Hindi ko magawa yan with my wife.
Siguro nasanay na lang. Yung anak ko rin kasi puro horror din mga gusto
really? Anong age nun?
Ilang taon na ba? 6, mga 5. Pero hindi naman yung mga horror films na katulad nito. Yung mga YouTube na parang mga monsters, mga
start ko na nga yung anak ko.
Bantayan naman namin. So don't worry. Pero siya, parang namimili, parang natutuwa siya. Siguro dahil nakita niya yung reaction ko pagka pinapakita niya sa akin yung mga horror things. So, yun. Pero naman, mabait na bata naman siya. Hindi naman siya parang demon siya.
Si Damon pala siya, no?
Oo, si Damien.
Si Damien.
Ay, Damon.
Yes, Miguel.
No.
I thought you were gonna say something.
I'm just thinking about this movie and where it fits in my head.
Akala ko nag-clap ka kasi may sudden realization ka.
No, I just sorry.
Labo.
Sorry. Anyway.
Daming nangyari in the movie. I'm looking at our chat.
Marami nangyari.
Yeah, wild. But hindi siya straightforward. Kasi,
hindi siya straightforward.
Like may tarot reading, may prophecy.
May anting-anting na ganito kalaki.
Nakalimutan ko na nasagasaan nung tram car yung nanay. That's how she died pala. I had to check Wikipedia. Parang gano'n.
Ang dami talaga nangyari.
Yeah. And then yung baby is the baby of the nurse and the priest.
Yes. Because they were fucking on the dining table.
Yes.
They had to separate them. Why?
Ako, at that point, tumanggi na ako, like, I think out na ako dito. Bahala na kayo sa buhay niyo.
Diba? Why are you saving them? Sino ba sila sa'yo? I get yung mom. Gets ko yung, okay, hindi mo maano yung mommy mo. Pero bakit yung nurse? Tsaka yung gangster, di ba kumuha rin siya ng isang, on Wikipedia, they're called hoodlums. Hoodlums.
Parang up for 1992, yeah.
Oo, natawa ako na ganun yung hoodlums. Ganito sila magsalita? Bakit ganito? It was so ridiculous. The whole scene was, what are you, necrophiliac? So binugbog siya kasi necrophiliac? Parang, huh? Ang ridiculous lang talaga.
Pero galing Same writing team as Lord of the Rings.
Yes. And I think I think
Fran Walsh. Even the third guy, the guy who wrote the story, is a director or a part of the AD of one of Lord of the Rings. Galing. As in tropa silang tatlo.
Pero feeling ko yung script na to, sobrang nipis ng script na to. Puro description lang. Diba? Puro description lang eh. Walang dialogue masyado eh. I can ask for the Lord. Yun lang.
I can ask for the Lord. Ang daming dugo. As in PV, our producer brought up na this is probably the movie with the most blood effects used. And on IMDb trivia, it's 300 liters. Damn! Grabe yun
Well, believable.
Yeah, believable.
Idulo pa lang. Yeah.
Tapos may eksena pa na, I think it's super self-aware din eh. Like, may eksena na hindi siya makatakbo, nadudula siya sa dugo. Yung parang ganun klase.
And then he had to jump on yung heads.
Yeah. Galing.
So ridiculous, I swear.
Yep.
It was just, even the way that si mom niya, diba, when she got bitten in the zoo, nung pinatay niya yung monkey, it was so, whoa, inapakan niya in the head and the eyes came out. It was
with the heels.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
I'm going through Wikipedia too. There's one review. It says that it makes something like Reanimator. You don't know Reanimator. It makes something like Reanimator seem like a documentary about Mother Teresa. And then yung apparently nung released on VHS, no, it came with vomit bags.
Galing ng marketing.
Galing ng marketing.
Yeah.
Alam nila kadire.
Yeah, exactly. So ako really like my whole thing about Dead Alive is sobra ko natuwa sa kay Peter Jackson. Just parang discovering him as an early filmmaker, no? And then kitang-kita mo everything he's doing here is he's been using his you can see in his later work. Para siyang si Sam Raimi.
Okay,
in Evil Dead. You guys remember Evil Dead, right? When we watched it, parang it's like, it's so, the camera is always moving, it's always in your face, it's always on the floor, on top, but it's just so extra. Alam mo yun? And then it's fun seeing yung origin ni Peter Jackson. So I super enjoyed it.
I think I guess this is my impression of the movie and this is my thing. Parang, I think no matter what you feel about the storytelling or whatever, or the plot, parang you can't deny the glee they had in making this. Parang,
super, yeah.
Parang super dream. Yeah, it's like a fever dream and like parang tuwang-tuwa sila to make this movie and do everything they can with it. I think that's why it kind of reminds me of Sam Raimi. Parang there's this underlying joy and glee in making a scary movie or a horror movie.
All right. So at this point, we'd like to give our last thoughts on this movie, Dead Alive. So I'll start. I really enjoyed it. The whole time na nanonood ako, tumatawa lang ako, sending videos and texts to the group. Kasi sobrang nalabuan lang talaga ako. And kasi bilang komedyante, and I do improv theater, minsan malabo rin talaga yung storytelling namin. Nakarelate ako. Parang, okay. Kaya pala pumunta dito kasi sinabi niya zoo. Okay. So I really enjoyed it. But hindi ko alam kung i-recommend ko siya sa mga tao. It's a acquired taste.
Yeah.
Para si Mervin, di pa niya ma-recommend sa asawa niya.
Okay. Ako, super loved it. Super duper duper loved it. Kasi gets ko immediately from the beginning. It's super campy. Hindi lang siya horror. It's a horror comedy. I think this is what we discussed dati when we were talking about The Frighteners.
Yeah.
Yung earlier film ni Peter Jackson also. When I said na I saw it reverse ako with Mervin. When I saw The Frighteners a long time ago, I was like, hindi ko gets yung tone. Kasi I was like, why? Bakit siya? Is it horror ba? Is it comedy? And then I watched The Frighteners again for our podcast. And I was like, I put a super gets ko na. And I super fell in love with The Frighteners watching it as an adult. So immediately watching this for the first time, I was like, yeah, I'm into it. I love it. Super over the top. Looney Tunes nga siya. Super enjoyed it. This is the best part of the podcast. No, it's not just meeting people with their favorite horror films. So it's also discovering these films that you would never watch.
Yeah.
That you'd never watch.
Yeah.
Until someone recommends to you. Yeah.
Agreed.
So great choice. I loved it so much. Miguel?
I like for me like
nagustuhan na.
Yeah.
ako yung Mervin yung slide parang hindi ko to magets, hindi ko to masakyan kasi parang gore or parang it was just over the top and hindi ko rin magets yung tono. What Chris felt about Frighteners as a child, I felt as an adult for this movie. But at the same time, like I mentioned a while ago, parang you can't deny the glee when they made this movie. Like I guess from a creator's perspective, parang ang saya lang gawin ng pelikulang to. Like parang Peter Jackson, whether he had a blank check or not, just went to fucking town with this movie with gore and parang buong buo yung idea in his mind and feeling ko na nailabas niya sa pelikulang to. So, from a creator's point of view, parang damn, parang they had so much fun.
Yeah. So Mervin, any last thoughts?
Sa Dead Alive. Yun, naintindihan ko lahat yung concern ni Miguel kasi parang hindi talaga siya madaling i-recommend.
Oh, yeah.
Hindi, I mean yung point of view mo kasi parang kahit ako din nung nire-rewatch ko siya kasi pangatlong best ko palang pinanood to para dito sa show. So parang nung tinatry ko siyang panoorin ulit, parang talagang hindi ko siya mapanood kasi papanoorin ko dapat siya with my wife. So parang gusto ko siyang maintindihan niya ako or something. Pero parang hindi ko pa rin talaga ma-recommend. Sa simula pa lang na you've got the bite. Parang yung puputulin yung mga parts niya. Parang sampler na siya ng buong film. Parang di ko ma-explain kung paano siya magiging maganda. Kumbaga. So kailangan mo lang talaga siyang i-acquire yung taste niya. Ganun. So parang, pero pag narating mo yun, wala na. Parang pwede mo nang panoorin lahat ng mga horror films. So kung
parang
gusto
yun
niyo
yung susi,
manood ng... Parang ganun eh. Parang sa mga horror, parang mayroong point na sobrang takot na takot. Tapos pagdating mo dun sa dulo, parang, oh shit, nakaka-enjoy pala itong panoorin. Medyo parang kailangan mo i-embrace yung darkness ng konti para ma-appreciate. Kasi lahat naman tayo mayroon nun. Parang lahat tayo may mga ganong kabaliwan. So, yun. Tanggapin na lang natin mga kabaliwan natin para ma-enjoy natin yung buhay natin at ang mundong ito. Yun. Saka yung kabaliwan naman yung mundo na natin ngayon, di ba? So, tanggapin na lang natin kabaliwan. So, yun.
So, thank you so much, Mervin, sa pagpili nitong movie na to. We wouldn't have watched it if you didn't suggest it. Before we go, meron ba tayong ipopromote on your end?
Wala naman. Continuous lang ang aming pagbebenta ng comics sa mervstore.com. Tapos may re-release. Ayoko na mag-promise. Last interview ko na promise na re-release akong comics. Meron ginagawang anthology ng comics na horror. Horror na last year sinabi ko lalabas pero hindi ko pa nalabas. Ako na lang hinihintay kasi yung story ko hindi pa tapos. Pero ayan, kasama ko si Julian, si Julius Villanueva ng Ella Arcangel. Tapos sino pa ba? Mga iba-ibang mga writer tsaka artist ng comics. So ang team namin ay manananggal. So yun, nag-isip kami ng mga iba-ibang paraan para maggawa ng manananggal. Para maggawa ng story na may kinalaman sa manananggal. So abangan nyo na lang. So ayaw mo na magsabi ng date.
Okay.
So hopefully lumabas siya. Tapos yung El Arcangel na animation na yun yung tinatrabaho ko ngayon. So abangan nyo din. Yun yung talagang yun yung parang yung pinagtutuunan ko ng oras sa ngayon. So, abangan yun kasi talaga, binubuhos ko talaga lahat ng mga dugo ko dun sa mga pawis. Yes. So, abangan
300 liters ng dugo. Doon mo ilalagay.
Yun. Gasing dami ng Dead Alive.
All right, so thank you. At sa mga nakikinig, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Once again, before you go, please follow us on our socials. We have Dead Air, a horror fan page on Facebook where you can talk about your favorite horror movies and shows. We also have the Facebook page of the podcast, Dead Air, a horror podcast. And last but not least, we also have an Instagram at Dead Air Pod where you can harass the person who is managing this account, ask questions, send pictures, send nudes. No problem. It is not me. So thanks everyone for listening and stay safe since the pandemic is still around. Stay safe, stay at home, get your booster shot, and enjoy. Bye, everyone.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Brought to you by Big Baby Studios.